What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? NoZoupForYou here, and boy, you all had a lot on your mind. Yeah, wow. You all responded to yesterday's video, and you were more than willing to share the reasons that you're not coming back to this game. A little less on what it will take to get you back to the game, and a lot more on why you left and why you won't come back. But it's important because they're kind of the same thing. I mean, what it would take to get you back into the game is pretty much in line with the reasons you left. So what I'm going to do is kind of a mean tweets type of thing. And I mean, for the most part, these aren't really mean, but I'm just going to go through some of the comments that were provided. And a lot of them are very similar, especially amongst veteran players that have been playing for 5 years and have left over the past year or two. And it really centers around mechanics and how it doesn't pay to be a skilled player anymore. And that's partly due to HE and the influx of HE, and just that it doesn't matter what you do, HE just counters everything. And that was the feeling of more than a few players. The problem is Wargaming's not going to care about this, let's face it. You know, we could have a 100% consensus on what is wrong with this game. 100% of players could say, hey, I don't like this aspect, and knowing Wargaming, they're not going to do anything about it. That's just the way they are, and it sucks, because a lot of these things are simple things that could be fixed fairly easily. Some of the other things, maybe not so much. A lot of these issues have been brewing for a very long time. But let's get into these, and, you know, you can make of it what you will, and maybe Wargaming's listening. Maybe. I don't know. It's possible. Stranger things have happened. But Robert says, I left because after being an alpha and super tester, it was evident that Wargaming broke all the promises they made at the beginning designed to maintain the game's integrity. Removing the elite status from so many of my commanders in January was the final straw for me, as it was clear Wargaming had no desire to see loyalty or loyal long-term players remain in the game, which is unfortunate. And Scott goes on to say, I totally agree. All promises were broken. They never listened to the player and fan base who pay money. They put out ships they think we want instead of ships the players would love to see. Then they totally screw up the CVs. The way they were to begin with was totally realistic instead of how they are now. They keep fixing things that aren't broke, like commander skills. Next, they bring in total BS ships like Shikishima and hybrid ships, then add subs. If you want subs, go play Cold Waters. The game is so broke, and F now, they need to scrap and rebuild like World of Tanks has, and has been doing for the past few years. Tanks, not totally fixed, but better than ships. Fix ships, and I'll come back. So that's a pretty damning indictment of everything right there, and there's a lot of responses here. Reverend Brian says this right here. So yeah, a lot of anger right there. Sam says Submarines will bring him back to the game, so something a little more positive right there. He's just waiting for that, and he will come back to the game. And Michael says the same, subs and putting the CV gameplay back to normal. One of those things is going to happen. One is definitely not. Brian says something odder. I'm going to be hated for this. He knows ahead of time this is controversial. Short batteries that you get to use. That would be interesting. And we at one point had short batteries that, while we couldn't use them, they were there, and that was, God, I can't even remember the name of that game mode anymore. Bastion, was that it? Was it Bastion? I think so. That was one of the odder attempts of Wargaming to make things interesting. Martin says, I've had time away now and again, but I'm not as active as I was, and I don't play competitive anymore. I've been tired by the constant overpowering of mythical Russian ships and drive for larger and larger caliber guns and gimmicks. Oh, and the push to get noobs up to tier 8. I think this boils down to feeling like the game has become too arcadey for me. The artwork is spectacular, the gameplay is shite. And that sentiment has been echoed a lot as well by many other players. They feel that the power creep is too strong, and people don't want paper ships, they want real ships. And I've been hammering that nail for ages, and Wargaming just seems to do their own thing. Again, You know, plenty of real ships still out there to be made. I know Wargaming thinks they're making things interesting by adding, you know, paper ships, but by doing that, they're giving them gimmicks that just aren't conducive for good gameplay. John says the same thing. Russian fantasy ships, HE spam, commanders, overhell. Don't quite get the overhell part, but actually hard to think of anything Wargaming has done right in the last 3 years. And another damning indictment right there. Rod just has simply given up. He says, whenever I voice the issues that bug me, I get shouted down by the game's sycophants. Perry says, I'm waiting for submarines. I'm traditionally a DD main, but with everything having radar and extended spotting and aircraft, etc., DD is not like it was back in the day. They used to be stealthy hunters that were hard to find. Now they're eternally spotted and can't get away. The new submarines will bring back that style of gameplay. Sure, I play a game here and there, but the lack of content changes, real changes, is non-existent. They cover a map in the snow and call it new. No, that's not new, that's a reskin. They take out the maps like the ice map with all the icebergs because it was too hard. Basically, every map looks almost exactly the same right now. Nothing has small islands that DDs can brawl and hide in the islands. Sure, 3 or 4, but I mean actual large numbers of islands to navigate. New lines really don't have any changes aside from the color and the flag they fly under. That's why I'm excited for subs. They're actually different. And he got a like on that too, so it seems like a fair amount of players are actually excited for submarines. I know a lot of players also are kind of looking at them with a little bit of trepidation. It'll be interesting to see submarines in the game, no doubt. We're going to get our taste of that soon. But for many players, it's appearing that submarines are a new flavor, and it's going to bring them back at least for a while, as I suspected. So Wargaming's probably going to get a little bump in players playing again once they come back in, and depending on what they do to the game, it's either going to sink the game or help the game to swim. Justin says real-time strategy style CVs like at launch, and subs more XP for AA build cruisers. Joseph Bell says turn the clock back to 2015 and make it worth grinding again. Wargaming has made the game completely noob friendly, so there's no learning curve, and grind. Turn destroyers into invisible submarines, remove all the nation's specific penetration stats, has more make-believe ships than real, almost, turn CVs into a complete farce, and to top it off, virtually every new feature or addition is just something they took away previously. That's an interesting point right there. Bill says, I haven't left, but once submarines are in randoms, I'm gone. They're the last straw for me. To fix the game, keep subs out of randoms, get rid of 12-kilometer radar, 6-kilometer hydro, and armor-piercing rockets, and make half the battles a 2-tier spread instead of a 3-tier spread, and nerf every Russian ship, except probably DDs, so they're more in line with ships from the other nations. So, right there, another indictment of Russian ships. It appears that nobody likes Russian ships, except when they're playing Russian ships, because they were the ultimate in power creep. Curtis has something rather long here, and Curtis gives a very, very good synopsis of why he left and what's keeping him away. He says, I've been playing Wargaming games since 2010, so he's a long-time Wargaming player. Wargaming, this is the guy you need to listen to right here. He's been playing for, what, it's 2021 right now? He's been playing for 11 years. This guy has given you some loyalty. I think you deserve to listen to him. I've been playing Wargaming games since 2010. Started beta testing World of Tanks. So there you have it right there. I'm not here to brag, but I literally have over 8,000 Tier 10 battles, which is more than most people have in battles total. But what I've seen in the last couple years is you are literally punished for making any kind of game-winning tactical move with the amount of HE spam and long-range camping in the back battleship play. Keep in mind, I play every class: destroyer, cruiser, battleship. He left out CVs, but is it really a class? My win rate will probably be forever stuck at 56%, which I might add is not bad. That's a pretty good win rate, especially if you're not divisioned up. I think I'm hovering at about 58%, down from 60 a couple years ago. But they made the game way too random now. There's no skill involved. I've had a full broadside Grosser Kurfürst to Yamato and have literally bounced or shattered rounds at 5 kilometers. I've had games in a GK where I've had over 380 secondary hits, but I can only pull a 140,000 damage game. There was a time where I could get any one of my tier 10s and pull a 200k or 300k damage game, no problem. Now I'm lucky if I get 100k. There's literally no incentive to be aggressive now. It's just camp spam, torpedo spam, high explosive. You can't collect credits anymore. You can't collect flags anymore. They literally screwed ranked play right up. I used to be proud that I had some of the rare ships in the game, but now they're just throwing them left and right and center, giving away in containers. I guess I'm writing this rant after a bottle of red. So, you know what? In vino veritas, there's truth in the wine. I guess I'm writing this rant after a bottle of red, but there's no incentive for loyalty anymore. And maybe that's what it boils down to. I'm going to stop on that one, because that is a very, very important statement right there. There's no incentive for loyalty anymore. And there's not. For those of you that have been playing as long as Curtis, especially World of Warships, not just warships and tanks, do you feel there is loyalty to you? Do you feel you've been rewarded for putting in the games? Because right now I'm starting to feel like I'm not. I mean, granted, I didn't like the original CVs because I wasn't good at them. But as we go on, time after, time, as the years go on, I'm starting to hate the CV rework more and more. And, you know, at first I kind of like them, and you all probably remember the infamous CV Save World of Warships shill video that I made back when I was a CC. But being a little more honest, I only see CVs used now if there's missions that directly require them. Outside of that, they're kind of a mixed bag, and the skill of the players using them, not that good. It actually is more of a hinder to your team than not. So I know CVs always get thrown in here. A lot of players don't like them, don't like the way they are, but you know, we're several years removed now from the rework, and we'll never go back because that would be admitting defeat for World of Warships and Wargaming. So we're stuck with what we have, but that's one reason. The HE spam, another one, and you know, that's always been an issue, but it's hitting a break point now, I think. And Curtis is right. You know, in the beginning, I guess loyalty to us by Wargaming was the fact that if you were a skilled player and you made shrewd and wise moves, you'd be rewarded for it. But less and less it feels that way. There's no point pushing in battleships sometimes because you're just going to get just demolished by HE. I mean, I was playing ranked the other day in a Jean Bart, which I feel is a great ship, and I just got melted by a Friesland behind an island that I couldn't do anything about. Couldn't turn away or anything else, and it's a very frustrating feeling to just get whittled and fired down by HE, especially if you can't counter it. There's nothing you can do about it if you can't escape. And you know, maybe the point is that, well, you shouldn't have pushed too hard or too far, but with the changes to mechanics too, which hasn't been mentioned, you know, back in the day, if I was in a Montana or something else, I could completely blap a destroyer that wandered too close to me with AP, which you can't do anymore. So your loyalty isn't being rewarded. In fact, I think the exact opposite is happening, and I've said this numerous times. Wargaming doesn't care about you if you've already put your money in. They got your money out of you. They got their $100 to $1,000 and sometimes more. Anything over $50 for them for a single player is a win. They've used you. They got their utility out of you, and they don't care about your opinion anymore. It's just try and grab more players and milk that $50 out of them and move on to the next. So it really doesn't pay to be a whale. It doesn't pay to sink a lot of money into the game. So again, until Wargaming does start rewarding loyalty and fixing the mechanics that aren't going to be fixed, and giving us what we want, like real ships, like that USS Johnston I want, or the USS New Jersey, or other things, it's not worth sinking money into this game for fake stuff. I mean, I'm not going to stop you from doing that. It's your prerogative and your money. But You know, I think everything that I just said right now, everything that these players have stated, these vocal players, is accurate. And it is what's wrong with the game right now, so... Anyhow, keep funneling those opinions. I love reading them and seeing what you're hating and loving about the game right now. We'll see what Submarines do. It's going to be interesting. But as always, thanks for watching, and I really hope Wargaming's watching because, you know, this is what players are pissed about right now. Anyhow, I'll catch you all later. Zoop out.